Today we are going to discuss the last point from this chapter, that is quantifying uncertainty. As we know, this unit is comprising of two chapters from the textbook. Okay, so today we are going to finish this first part. So we'll talk about Wumpus world problem. Okay, so how to determine the probability if there is a uncertainty, how to derive the probability and how to take the decision. So we have talked about different probability rules like product rule, then normalization, independence, then Bayes rule, right? So we need the knowledge of the those rules to determine the probability in case of a Wumpus world example. Now this is the slightly changed scenario. In previous unit, there was no breeze at this location. Okay, and there our agent was logical agent. Okay, so he was having a capability of deriving a new inference from the given evidences, right? Now here our agent is known as probabilistic agent. Okay, so if the fact is not certain, then our agent will derive the probability of that. Okay, so now here the scenario is slightly different. So here breeze is felt at this location also. Okay, so B is indicating breeze is there at these two locations. Now recall the problem, Wumpus world problem. Our agent is entering through this square. Okay, so we know for sure that there is no pit at 1,1 location. Our agent has visited these two locations and he has felt the breeze. Now we know that in Wumpus world example, breeze is felt at 4 neighborhood. Okay, so if pit is at this location, breeze will be there in 4 neighborhood. Okay, so that means we can have a pit at this location or at this location and at this location also. Okay, because breeze is there, right, here also and here also. So in this scenario our logical agent will fail. Why? Because he cannot determine where to go. Okay, so he doesn't know which room is most likely to have a pit. Okay, so what he has to do, he has to choose the next room randomly. Okay, so this is the drawback of LA. In such scenarios our LA will fail. Now how our PA, that is probabilistic agent, will overcome that problem? Now PA has a capability of deriving a probability. Okay, so he will derive a probability of this room, that is 1,3 having a pit, probability of pit in this location, in this location and in this location, and he will select that room which is having a lower probability of having a pit. Okay, so here our aim is to calculate the probability that each of the three squares, so that means 1,3, 2,2 and 3,1, these are the squares, contains a pit. Okay, so that is our aim. Now we will apply all the probabilistic inference rule to derive the probability of these three entities. So this is a figure after finding a breeze in both location 1,2 and 2,1. Now our logical agent is stuck here. Okay, there is no safe place to explore for our logical agent. Now consider we are having two variables, Pij. Ij indicates the location of that room. Pij is a Boolean variable, so its value will be either true or false. If it is true, when ij square contains a pit, and we have second variable as Bij, it is again a Boolean variable. B stands for breeze. So if breeze is felt at location I comma j, then it would be true, otherwise false. So in this case there is breeze at 1 comma 2 and 2 comma 1. Okay, so we have B 1 comma 2 and B 2 comma 1, and there is no breeze at 1 comma 1. Okay, so there is no breeze at 1 comma 1. Okay, so this is the current scenario, and properties of the world is Pete causes breeze in all neighboring squares. All means 4 neighbors only. Each square other than 1 comma 1 contains a Pete with probability 0.2. This is a given data about the world. Here to notice one thing, when we say a room has Pete with 0.2 probability, that also means that it will not have a Pete with probability 0.8. Okay, I repeat, when you say a particular square contains a Pete with 0.2, that also implies that it will not have a Pete with 0.8 probability. Okay, so I think the scenario is clear to you. And what is our aim? We want to calculate the probability of each of the 3 squares contains a Pete. Okay, and our agent is going to select that particular square which is having a least probability. In the previous example of our toothache patient, we were able to derive a probability because we had this full distribution, full probability distribution, right? Joint probability distribution. 8 possible combinations were there, and we were having the probabilities, right? So we need that. Okay, that's why we are going to find this full joint distribution over all the possible pits and the given data. Okay, these are the given evidences. So we want that full joint distribution. Okay, so we have that on LHS side, and then we can apply a product rule. Okay, so these are our breeze variables. Okay, and given this Pete configuration. Okay, so you know the product rule, right? So whatever is in division, you have to multiply by probability of that. Okay, so probability of breeze configuration given Pete configuration multiply by the probability of Pete configuration. Okay, so this is how you can interpret this equation. The first term is the conditional probability distribution of the breeze configuration given the Pete configuration. What is the Pete configuration? How the Petes are situated or allocated? Its value is 1 if the breezes are adjacent to the Petes or 0 otherwise. Okay, and we know this thing. Okay, so if so consider this one. Okay, so if n pits are containing n rooms are containing pits, then we can say that the probability of that will be 0.2 raised to power n. Okay, why? Because n pits are having 0.2 probability, so 0.2 multiplied by 0.2 n times. Okay, and at the same time 16 minus n rooms will not have pit. Okay, so their probability will be 0.8. so the final probability of this Pete configuration would be this one. Okay, so if we have exactly n pits, the probability of this Pete configuration would be this 0.2 into n, because n pits are having pits with I am getting confused with pits and rooms. Okay, so n rooms are having pits, that's why their probability will be 0.2 raised to power n. At the same moment 16 minus n, because our room size is 4 by 4, 16 rooms are there in total, n are gone, so 16 minus n are not having pit, so their probability will be 0.8, right? So this is the probability, final probability value of this pit configuration. Okay, then what are the evidences that we have? So about breeze, there is no breeze at location 1 comma 1 denoted by not of B 1 comma 1. There is breeze at 1 comma 2 and 2 comma 1. Okay, so this is about breeze. And what about Pete? there is no pit at 1 comma 1, 1 comma 2 and 2 comma 1. Okay, so see the figure, there is no pit at this 3 location. Okay, there is no breeze at 1 comma 1, but there is breeze at 1 comma 2 and 2 comma 1. Okay, so this is the evidences that we have so far. Okay, now what is our aim? We want to find the probability of pit at 1 comma 3. Okay, so probability of pit at 1 comma 3. Okay, we are considering only, we are aiming for this room. Okay, now by the symmetry the probability of 3 comma 1 would be same. Okay, it will be different for the middle one. Okay, but by the symmetry, the probability of this square would be same. Okay, so we are aiming for this location. So what is our aim? To find the probability of 1 comma 3, pit at 1 comma 3, given this is a known fact about the pits and the breeze. Okay, so did you get our aim, what we are trying to find? Okay, so let us proceed. So let us define few more variables. So we have unknown variable. So it is a set of these variables. Okay, so these 3 squares are known to us. Okay, we know the pit configuration of these 3 rooms. Okay, but others are unknown. Okay, so set of all such square is denoted by unknown. Known contains 3 pits, that is these 3 known ones. Okay, query is the square, that is 1 comma 3. This is our query square. And here one thing you can notice that this square, this will be our 4 comma 4. Now this 4 comma 4 is not going to affect this one, so we can say that it is logically independent of this. Okay, so probability of this or the breeze at this location is independent of these other variables, right? Sorry, not this one, this one. Okay, that's why we are putting such square which are not which are independent of this known squares in the other set. Okay, so they are independent and we are going to utilize our independent law. Okay, so unknown is divided into 3 subsets: other, frontier and query. Okay, so query is the square for which we are finding the probability. The adjacent to the known, okay, remaining ones are there in frontier. So see, frontier be the pit variables that are adjacent to the visited square. Okay, visited square, and others remaining are there in other. Okay, so those are the terminologies that we are going to use. Okay, is it clear? Too many terminologies are there. Okay, but bear with me. Then next one. Okay, then we need one more formula that we skipped in the last class. Okay, but that is needed here. So recapitulation. Okay, so we will have a flashback. So we have seen this example of that toothache patient. Now there were 3 variables: toothache, cavity and catch. Toothache is having 2 values: toothache, no toothache, and cavity is having 2 values: cavity and no cavity. Catch is also having 2 values, that is catch and no catch. That means 2 into 2 into 2, that is 8 possible values are there, and which is denoted in this table. Our aim was to find the probability of cavity given toothache. Probability of cavity given toothache. Capital C indicates that it is a variable and it has 2 values, that is small cavity and no cavity. Okay, and we were finding the probability of that using our product rule. Okay, and then we have seen the concept of normalization. Okay, as we have observed that the denominator is constant. Okay, so to simplify the calculation, we have replaced that denominator by normalization constant denoted by alpha, right? Okay, so here we skip this equation. So here in this example, x is our cavity and E is toothache. Okay, so E is actually a observed value. Okay, so with cavity there was a toothache. Okay, so it is indicated by E. Now what we are doing, we are trying to derive this equation. Okay, so see, just compare these two equation. Okay, so I think this equation, sorry, this example is clear to you. Okay, we want this formula. So alpha is there. Okay, alpha is there. Cavity is denoted by capital X. Toothache is given evidence. Okay, so indicated by E. Okay, and then what we did, we did the summation over unobserved variable, and here the unobserved variable was catch. Okay, see the summation of what, 0.108, 0.0116, which is this one. Okay, so it was a summation over unobserved variable, that was catch. Okay, so here the y is unobserved variable. Okay, so we have to do a summation over unobserved variable. Did you get this example? Okay, so this example equation is equivalent to this normalized equation. Okay, shall I repeat? It is too much complex. Okay, I repeat one more time. So observe the terminologies that we are using. Capital C, it is indicating that it is a cavity variable. Okay, which is replaced by X in this equation. Okay, so we wanted cavity, the probability of cavity given toothache. Okay, so toothache is the given evidence denoted by E here. Okay, it becomes equals to alpha into probability of cavity comma toothache. Similarly here we have same thing. Okay, then it was equivalent to the summation over unobserved variable. In this example the unobserved variable was catch. So here in this equation it is denoted by summation of y being a unobserved variable. Okay, so remember this equation. So our conditional probability denoted by this is going to be replaced by this equation. Okay, we need that, remember that. So our aim is to find this probability. Okay, and we are using that equation denoted by equation number 13.9. See 13.9. Okay, and our equation becomes equals to alpha into, so there are some unknown variables, okay, which is denoted by this figure, right? It was a union of these three sets, other, query and frontier, unknown, right? Okay, so it is a summation over values from unknown. Okay, then P13 is there. Okay, B is already there. Okay, unknown is added. See, compare, Y is added, right? Okay, so unknown is added, known and B are already there. Okay, so we are actually trying to introduce the conditional independence. Okay, because from unknown some are independent, right? So we can ignore them, so that we are trying to introduce here. Okay, slowly we'll build the equations. Okay, then so here we have this one. Okay, this equation is done from equation 13.9. then we can introduce the product rule. Okay, so probability of breeze given this. Okay, so P13 is there, known is there, okay, and unknown is there. Okay, so we are doing some modification, and if by the product rule you have to multiply it with the denominator. Okay, so this is our denominator multiplied. Okay, then again we will modify. Now unknown is made up of two sets, that is frontier and other one is other, right? Okay, so unknown is divided into two, frontier and other. Okay, it is replaced with frontier and other. Then okay, what we did here, yes, so we know that the probability of breeze is independent of other rooms, right? So that is ignored here. Okay, we have seen the independent equation, So if A and B are independent, then we can ignore B, right? Okay, so that other variable is ignored. Okay, next. Okay, other things are same. The next thing is what we did here. Okay, as other is not in this first part, okay, so this term can be moved forward. Okay, the first term in the expression does not depend on other variable, so we can move the summation inward. Okay, so other summation is moved inwards. Then and so these all are independent. Okay, so they is the probability of this is equivalent to multiplication of individual probabilities. Okay, so we have this part. Okay, the next one is here what we did, frontier, summation of frontier. Yes, it is a summation over frontier. Okay, so now the probability of what we did here, yes, the probability of known, it is taken outside. This part is written in the middle. Okay, this is the part. Okay, and then probability of this is taken outside here, then probability of known is here, then probability of frontier is this one, and probability of other, because summation is over other are independence, this three are independent of that summation. Okay, so they can be taken out. Okay, let me erase. That's why we need chalk and board in such complex derivation. Chalk and board is better approach instead of this PPTs. Okay, so this bracket is written here. Okay, in this part, this is summation over other. Okay, so there is no other variable here, right? So we can take them separate. This is written here, this P is written here, P of known, and P other summation is written here, frontier is written here. Okay, so we have done just adjustment here. Now the probability of this, no need to calculate, this can be added into our normalization constant. So alpha became alpha dash. Okay, probability of known, what is the probability of known is the this part, right? These three variable, no need of exact value, it can be adjusted in normalization constant. And then now probability of this is actually 1, is equals to 1, because you can consider any variable like cavity, summation over cavity. So there are only two possible value, no cavity, no cavity, and its summation would be always 1. That is the basic property of probability. Probability of all possible world is, sorry, summation of probability of all possible world is 1. So this is gone, this part is gone. Okay, and this is adjusted in this alpha dash. Okay, so now what we want, so there are only 5 possible worlds. Okay, so this 133 may contain a pit. Okay, so this circle, gray circle, is indicating that there is a pit, and it may not have a pit. Okay, then this is one scenario. Second scenario is, as breeze is felt at 2,1 location, so pit can be there at this one or this one. Okay, C. Okay, so consider first part where breeze is there at 1,3. Now there are 3 possible cases. How? One is, okay, so as breeze is at there, sorry, breeze is there in 1,2 and 2,1. Okay, so we can have pit at all these 3 location, or it can be here, or it can be here. Can we have this scenario? Okay, this is too much complex to explain actually. So pit is there. Okay, so can we have this scenario where there is no pit at this location and this location? Can we have like this? No. Why? Because there is a breeze at this location. There is breeze at this location, so pit must be here or at both location, right? That's why we have three cases. Getting my point? Okay, so this is when we have pit at 1 comma 3. Then when we don't have pit at 1 comma 3, then what happens? Then we can have only two configuration. Okay, so as we have breeze at this location, okay, pit must be there at this location. Okay, and we can have breeze at 3 comma 1, or we may not have breeze at pit at 3 comma 1. Okay, so there total 5 possible worlds are there. Okay, and what are the probability of those? So if we have pit at 2 comma 2 and 3 comma 1, that means the probability will be 0.2 into 0.2. And if you don't have pit at 3 comma 1, then the absence probability will be 0.8. Okay, so 0.2, okay, the probability of pit at location 2 comma 2 into 0.8, that is 0.16. Here the pit is not there, the probability will be 0.8, and here we have pit 0.2. Okay, so probability of this world is 0.16. Similarly, you calculate for this possible worlds also. Okay, and the probability of pit at 1 comma 3 is 0.2. Okay, that's why 0.2 into 0.04 plus 0.16 and 0.16. Okay, and the probability of no pit at 1 comma 3 is 0.8. Okay, so 0.8 into 0.04 plus 0.16. Okay, so that is the probability of this, the summation of probability of all these possible worlds. Okay, multiply by alpha. Okay, and if you do the normalization, okay, we have to do normalization, you get this probability. Okay, so probability of pit at 1 comma 3 is 0.31. Okay, and if the probability of no pit at that location is 0.69. Okay, and if you follow same derivation for 2 comma 2, its probability is 0.86 or 86% probability. Okay, so our probabilistic agent will select either this pit 1 comma 3 or 3 comma 1, because their probability is 31%. The probability of 2 comma 2 is 86%. Okay, did you get this derivation? Okay, so go through this video once again. What we did, we tried to divide all this pit configuration. So there are total 16 variables for pit configuration, right? So we tried to divide those pit configuration in these 4 sets. Known, okay, it contains 3 rooms. Other, they contain 10. Frontier contains 2 and query contains 1. Now others are independent, right? They are not affecting these evidences, right? So they can be ignored by the independence law, right? So we have done that modification. Okay, and then we came up with all possible worlds. Now we can ignore the other rooms, right? Okay, and we have done the calculation, and by normalization we have ignored some of the calculations, some calculation of some of the probabilities that is not required. Okay, we have seen in this example also, right? Okay, the derivation of this denominator is not required, that can be handled by normalization. So this is how we have derived the probability. So what is the final observation? We'll discuss that and then we will stop. Okay, so probability of pit at this location is 0.31. here the probability is 0.86. Okay, and by symmetry it is same for this one also, because all the facts are same for 3, 1 also. Okay, so our agent will select the room with minimum probability of pit, that means this one. Okay, so we'll stop here.